Good morning and welcome to the video for Thursday, July the 16th. This is going to be a video for our upcoming sixth graders. And so on Monday, we talked about some different things working with expressions. Today, we're going to be looking at how to identify if two expressions are equal to each other or equivalent, and how to generate equivalent expressions. And so to start with, we want to take a look at a couple examples and see if they are identical or not. So we have 9a times 3, which is going to give us a number that's probably going to be larger than 9. And then we have 12a. So think about what the answer to 9 times 3 would be. That should be 27. And we're going to still have that a there. So we would have 27a on this side, 12a on this side, and so the answer would be no. Those are not going to be equivalent. 8p plus 0 and 8p times 0. So on this side, I would be left with 8p because I'm adding nothing. On the other side, I would be multiplying by 0, which means the only thing I'm going to end up with is 0. And so this is not going to be a pair of equivalent expressions. For number 6, what we can do is use some of our addition properties. And so we could use the associative property after we use the commutative property to move this guy over here. And then we can move this guy over here. And we could end up with 14h plus 11h. And we could group that together. And so that would give us our 25h. We have 17 left over. So this would be a yes for having equivalent expressions here. Now let's take a look at what we are going to do, a couple strategies for coming up with equivalent expressions. So one of the things that I just did, we can actually use for this. We can use the commutative property and go ahead and switch the order of these two addends around, and then add the 20a plus 16a, which would give us 36a. And then we can have our plus 18. And so this is reducing the number of terms that would be in our expression. And so that would be an example of one way that we might make an equivalent expression. Another way would be using the distributive property. And so we're going to do that in two different ways. The first way is given in this first example, where we already have used the distributive property, and we're going to multiply this by 8, and then we're going to multiply this part by 8 to get our expression that would look kind of like what we would have in 5 and 6. And so what we would end up with here is 8h plus, and then the answer to this should be 12. And then for this one, we want to think about what number can we go ahead and factor out. And so our greatest common factor for this is going to be 4 because we're working with the same number. And so we can put m plus p in parentheses. I didn't do that very well. For my upcoming sixth graders that know me, you've had me for 3 years now, you know that I occasionally blunder trying to write, so nothing new. So then when I go to check this, I would do 4 times m, that would give me my 4m, 4 times p would give me 4p. For this one, we're going to use the same strategy, but our greatest common factor for 3 and 9 is going to be 3. And so that's going to be the number that goes on the outside. A is going to go by itself, but I'm going to do 9 divided by 3, which is going to give me the answer 3. Because again, when I multiply this, I need to get 3 plus 3 here to get the 9 for the coefficient in front of my variable b. So those are some of the things that you will be doing lots of. That last example is a good example for something that we will definitely ask you to do a lot of later on. in the school year. Hope your summer is going well. Hope the video makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Send me a message in Google Classroom. Have your parents email me. Again, part of the purpose of this is to get you ready for what to expect. We're still not entirely sure what the whole learning environment is going to look like, especially the first quarter. This won't happen until much later on, but if for some reason we're having to do a mix of remote learning and in-person learning as we get later into the school year, I want to make sure that I have things set up so that you guys understand what's going on and what to expect. So hope your summer's going well. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be on Monday.